So today we're looking at some of the best cases for the Pixel 7. I'll leave a link in the description of the video with current pricing and more information. So let's go ahead and get started. The Crave Slim Guard case actually comes in a lot of different color options: red, navy, lilac, forest green, blush, black, berry, aqua, and the one shown here is a slate gray. As you can see, sort of transparent there on the back, and it's sort of a harder plastic shell there on the back. I always like it when they use different colors for the buttons. This one here is black. Sort of a smooth, soft touch material here on the TPU material around the edges. Not a lot of cases out there do this, but this one has a cutout there on the top for the antenna. As far as putting the case on, I always start with the button side and then just snap the other side into place. First thing I noticed, you got a nice lip there for the screen protection. And I don't know about you, but I think this color combination with the gray kind of silver camera bar there on the back actually looks really good. You can also see the G icon there a little bit on the back as well. Nice protection for the cameras on the back as well. Buttons stick out plenty on this one, and they're super clicky, which I always like. You can see the cutout there on the top for the antenna. Pretty nice cutouts for the speakers, and then an oversized one for the charging port. The case weighs in at 34 grams. And then of course it's gonna work with wireless charging as well. The only thing they could probably improve on this case is maybe just make it a little bit more grippy, because the TPU is like really smooth. Other than that, really nice job here by Crave. Another case that's somewhat similar to the Crave case is by Humix. Comes in two different colors, green, and the one shown here is black. This one actually might be a little bit more grippy on the sides, and you can see on the back's a little bit different. You've got clear above and below where the camera bar is, and it's a little more rounded where the cameras are. A little bit different style of buttons. I like how they do the ridges there on the power button. They stick out plenty so you can find where they're located, and seem to have some pretty nice clickiness to them. Nice lip protection for the screen. Pretty nice protection for the cameras on the back. I'm definitely liking the curved style there. Nice and large cutout there for the charging port. Could be just a little more see-through there on the back for my liking. Overall, nice design though. Case only weighs in at 32 grams, so pretty lightweight as well. So of course it's gonna work with wireless charging as well. Now, if you don't want to cover up the back of your phone, you may want to consider the Rinky Fusion clear case. Hard plastic shell on the back, really nice and rigid. Pretty simple to put the case on, and it's got a real nice grippiness to it. Considering sometimes clear cases are a little bit more slippery, this one actually has pretty good grip. You've got some nice texture there on the power button. Pretty nice clickiness to them as well. Decent protection for the cameras on the back. This one's got a little bit less protection there on the sides of the screen. Plenty on the top and bottom, but I know some people might prefer that. Makes it just a little bit easier to swipe close to the edge of the screen. The back has some really nice grip to it as well, and fingerprints aren't too bad on there. You are gonna have some though. Cutouts for the speakers on the bottom to me seem just a hair low, but you got a nice oversized cutout for the charging port. The case itself weighs 28 grams, so definitely one of the lightest cases I've reviewed. And of course, it's gonna work with wireless charging. So just a really nice, affordable clear case by Rinky. Now, if you're looking for something a little more heavy duty and has really good grip on it, you might wanna check out the Caseology Athlex case. Comes in 3 different colors, orange, black, and the one shown here is green. This one's definitely a little bit thicker than some of these other cases, and it's really nice and rigid, barely flexes at all. This part here in the back kind of makes it a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier. Also has a little slot here in the middle. Kind of looks like you could put a card in there, but that's just for looks. And I love how they do the accent around the cameras. pretty simple to put this case on. This one doesn't have a huge lip there around the screen, but I know some people prefer that just because it's a little bit easier to use. It's got a rough, almost like sandpaper texture to it. Overall, I'm really liking the design on this. Same texture is on the power and volume buttons. Pretty decent clickiness to them. You can sort of see how thick the case is there on the back around the cameras. Nice and rounded around the edges. Plus you get an oversized cutout for the charging port. And like I said, it's gonna be a little bit heavier at 48 grams. And even though it's thicker, still gonna work with wireless charging. So yeah, this one's easily the most rugged out of all these cases I'll show you today. Just really nice quality and style by Caseology. Now if you want a similar style to the Athlex, but maybe a little bit thinner, a little bit smoother material, you'll probably want to check out the Nanopop. It comes in 3 different colors: blueberry navy, black sesame, and the one shown here is avo green. Still pretty nice and rigid, doesn't really flex much. Easy to put on here as well, and probably the first thing you'll notice, it's got these little grippy dots on the sides. Definitely helps give it a little more grip, because everywhere else is just sort of a smooth, almost soft touch material. It's got a really clean design to it as well. I feel like all cases should look like this around the cameras where you have an accent color. I don't know, to me it just looks really good that way. You've got a nice lip around the screen, but not too much that it's gonna get in the way. Smooth TPU material on the power and volume buttons. And these are really nice and clicky. A nice large cutout for the charging port. Weighs in at 44 grams, so definitely lighter than the Athlex. And even though it's a little thicker, looks like it works with wireless charging as well. If you've ever watched any of my case videos, you're gonna know the Thin Fit case by Spigen is one of my favorites. Here's why. It's super thin. Only weighs 28 grams, but it's still pretty rigid. Really doesn't flex much. Harder shell there on the back. Pretty clean design overall. And usually it's not that exciting of a case as far as how it looks. They usually just offer black, but I'm glad to see that they offer a different color this year. Here's what the metal slate one looks like. I wasn't sure if I liked it, so I just got black on this one. But yeah, I'll probably get the metal slate one also. You can see the softer TPU material there on the front or the sides. One of the easiest cases to put on. Plenty of lip around the edge, so you don't have to worry about getting the screen scratched up. Very minimal branding on this as well. Nice design there around the cameras on the back. A little bit of texture there on the power and volume buttons. Probably another reason why I like this case so much. Super clicky buttons. Nice oversized cutout there for the charging port. I know there's a lot of cases out there, but this one usually has one of the best grips, at least out of the ones I've tested. It's nice and smooth, but maybe a little bit grippier than the Nanopop. And then of course, because it's so thin, it's gonna work with wireless charging. Now the Cyril Stone case might be another good option for you. Comes in 2 different colors, Kale, which is sort of green, and Dusk, which is more of a dark gray color. This one's gonna be nice and lightweight, pretty flexible, made of a typical TPU material. Has a matte finish on most of it, more of a glossy finish on the sides. Okay, really snug fit. It's got the same gray, matte, rougher texture for the power and volume buttons. They also separate the volume buttons, and they're super clicky on this case. Just enough edge there around the screen, so you don't have to worry about scratching the screen up. Pretty nice design there around the cameras on the back. A nice clean design to this one. You've also got a nice large cutout there for the charging port. This one definitely feels a little bit boxier on the sides than some of the other cases. Weighs in at 34 grams, so fairly lightweight, and looks like it works with wireless charging as well. Another nice option is the Rinky Onyx. Comes in dark green or black. It's a pretty flexible TPU material. Does have some thickness to it there on the back though. Definitely has one of the better textures that I've seen on a case. Even has nice texture there on the side where you can see the logo. Pretty simple to put this case on. Looks like they're going with low protection there on the sides and then more protection on the top and bottom. Probably a little bit easier to use that way. This case is definitely a little more boxy on the sides versus rounded. Power and volume buttons are pretty clicky on this one. They could stick out just a little bit further in my opinion. Not bad overall though. They're also doing the camera cutout a little bit different there on the back. Pretty nice looking design to me. Smoother texture there on the top and bottom, and then an oversized cutout there for the charging port. This one actually seems really nice as far as texture and build quality. Fairly lightweight, only 36 grams. Of course, it's going to work with wireless charging as well. Now the crystal clear case by Humix, really nice and thick TPU material. Nice boxy cutout there for the cameras. Super rigid too, barely flexes at all. Also has a hard plastic shell on the back. Now this one has really good grip on the sides. Really nice clean design there on the back. Just a little bit of screen protection there on the sides, larger edge on the top and bottom, so definitely a little bit easier to touch stuff along the edge of the screen with this one. Surprisingly, I don't see a lot of fingerprints on here either. Smooth TPU material over the power and volume buttons. Definitely some of the clickiest buttons as well. Nice and rounded edges on this one. Oversized cutout for the charging port. One of the lightest cases that I've tested too at 30 grams. And of course it works with wireless charging. Now the Tudia Dual Shield Merge case is going to be a little more rugged. It's got a hard plastic shell on the back, softer TPU on the inside. Comes in several different colors: pink, rose gold, black, indigo blue, hunter green, and metallic slate. So really nice and rigid with the hard plastic shell on the back. Also one of the few cases that has a cutout there on the top for the antenna. Now when you put this case on, it actually feels really nice in the hand. And I like that they have these little ridges here on the sides. It definitely gives it a little better grip. Good screen protection all the way around. Decent clickiness to the buttons, and they stick out plenty so you don't really have to look at the case to find where they're located. Has a nice curved design to it around the cameras on the back. Also has the TPU material here at the top and bottom. Cutout for the microphone and antenna there on the top. Oversized cutout for the charging port, and perfect cutouts for the speakers. Overall, just really nice functionality, easy to use case. Of course, it's going to be personal preference. I probably like the all black version of this a little better than this two-tone. And it's a little bit heavier, weighs in at 46 grams. And then of course, wireless charging works with this case as well. I know some people are going to wonder if these cases work with the quick tap feature on the Pixel 7. Here's the two thickest cases out of all these. And yeah, it's going to work with both of these, so it should be fine with all the other cases that are thinner. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.